Hello, everybody. Gonna go ahead and wait a few minutes to see if we get anybody new. I just made an announcement again to the class, just in case anybody that's not normally on here. If you want to jump in, say hi. Um, I'll go ahead and give you guys a minute to show up. A quick reminder: we are going through 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. I'll give you guys a quick recap. So far we are in an underwater ship, a submarine manned by Captain Ahab. So far the characters that are in there are the three of them. Is the main character is Professor Erino. The second is his servant Conseil, and the third is the harpooner from Canada, Ned Land. So they don't know exactly where this guy is from. As far as Franco, welcome back. Good to have you. Um, quick reminder, basically, just we don't know where the captain's from. We know that he speaks a language that they don't understand, and they speak French, German, Italian, and Latin. So he speaks all those languages, but he also speaks another language that they don't understand. Now, there's some theories that I'll get into later on about where he might be from. I don't think they ever say so. But we know that he decided that he never wanted to live on land, or he never wanted to have anything to do with the surface world again. So he builds a submarine and he gets everything that he needs from the sea. So let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 13, A Few Figures. A second later, we were seated on a large couch in the lounge, cigars between our lips. The captain laid under my eyes a working drawing that gave a ground plan, a cross section, and a side view of the Nautilus. Nautilus is his ship. Then he began to describe his ship as follows. Here, Professor Aronow, there are different dimensions of this boat that's now carrying me. It's a very lengthy cylinder with a conical end. As you can see, it's shaped like a cigar, a shape you already used in London for several projects of the same type. From one end to the other, the cylinder measures exactly 230 feet. Its maximum breadth is that of 26 feet. Consequently, it isn't built 1 to 10 to 1 ratio of your high-speed steamers, but its lines are sufficiently large with a tapering gradual enough that the displaced water easily slips past and poses no obstacle for the ship's movement. These two dimensions allow you to obtain, by simple calculation, the Nautilus's surface area and volume. Total surface area is 10,877 square feet, and its volume 53,226 cubic feet, which is tantamount to saying that when it's completely submerged, it displaces 53,226 cubic feet of water, weighing 1,661.4 tons. In drawing up the plans for the ship, I meant for it to navigate underwater, and I wanted it, when floating on the waves, to lie 9/10 below the water and only emerge with 1/10. Under these conditions, consequently, it needed to displace only 1/10 of its volume. In other words, it had to weigh only 1,495 tons. So I was obliged not to exceed this weight while building it to the aforementioned dimensions. The Nautilus is made up of two hulls, one outer and one inner, and in between them, joining them together, are iron key bars that give the ship the utmost rigidity. In fact, thanks to this cellular arrangement, it's as resistant as a mass of stone, as if it were a solid object. The plating can't cave in. It's self-adhering and doesn't depend on the tightness of the rivets. And due to its perfect union of its materials, the solidarity of its construction allows it to challenge even the rushes and seas. Hani, welcome in. I'm so glad you came. Thank you for dropping by. I'm good. Let me know how you've been. Let me know how everything's going for you. Please, the chat is for you guys. Whatever you like to say, catch up, say something to your friends, feel free. Um, the two hulls are manufactured from boilerplate steel, whose relative density is 7.8 times that of water. The first hull is no less than 2 inches thick and weighs 435.37 tons. My second hull, the outer skin, feels a keel 20 inches high by 10 inches wide and weighing 68 tons in itself. This hull, the engine, the ballast, and the various accessories and furnishings, plus the bulkheads and the inner braces, have a combined weight of 1,059 tons, which, when added to the 435.37 tons, gives us the requisite total that we needed. Are we clear? Clear, so said the captain. When the Nautilus lies in the water under these conditions, 1/10 of it emerges above the water. Now then, if I provide some ballast in the tanks equal to the capacity of that 10th, hence able to hold 166 tons, then I fill them with water. The boat displaces 1,661 tons, or it displaces that much, and then it would be completely submerged. That's what takes place, Professor. These ballast tasks are close at hand in the lower reaches of the Nautilus. When I open the stopcocks, the tanks fill up and the boat sinks, and it's exactly flush with the surface of the water. Fine, Captain, but now we come to the real difficulty. You're able to lie flush with the surface of the ocean, that much I understand. But while diving into the depths beneath the surface, isn't your submersible going to encounter pressure, and therefore experience an upward thrust that's measured at 1 atmosphere per every 32 feet of water, or 14.2 pounds per square inch? Exactly, sir. Then, unless you fill the whole Nautilus, I don't see how you can drive it down to those masses of liquid. Remember, we're talking about the pressure that would mount up at the lower and lower you go into the ocean, the water pressure. Professor Captain Nemo replied, static objects mustn't be confused with dynamic ones, or we're vulnerable to serious errors. Comparatively little effort is spent in reaching the lower depths because all objects have a tendency to become sinkers. Here's how I reasoned it out. I'm all at attention, Captain. When I wanted to determine what increase in weight the Nautilus needed in order to submerge, all I had to do was take note of the progressive reduction in volume that salt water experiences in the deeper and deeper strata. That's clear enough, I said. Now then, if the water isn't completely incompressible, it at least compresses very little. In fact, according to the latest calculations, this reduction is only 0.0000436 per atmosphere, or per every 32 feet. If I go 32,000 feet down, I have to take into account the reduction in volume that occurs under a pressure equivalent to 32,000 feet column of water. In other words, under a pressure of 100 atmospheres. In this instance, this reduction would be 0.00436. Consequently, I would need to increase my weight from 1,661.4 tons to 1,668. So the additional weight would only be 7.4 tons. That's all. That's all, Professor Arno, and that calculation is easy to check. Now then, I have supplementary ballast tasks that are capable of shipping 101 tons of water, so I can descend to considerable depths. When I want to rise again and flush with the surface, all I have to do is expel that water. If I want the Nautilus to emerge above the waves at 10th of its total capacity, then I empty all the ballast tanks completely. This line of reasoning, backed up by figures, left me with but a single objection. I accept your calculations, Captain, I replied, and I would be ill-mannered to question that since your daily experience bears them out. But I have a hunch we're still left with one real difficulty. What, sir? When you're at a depth of 32,000 feet, the Nautilus's plating bears the pressure of 100 atmospheres. If at this point you want to empty the supplementary ballast tanks to lighten your boat and rise to the surface, your pumps have to overcome the pressure of 100 atmospheres, which amounts to 1,420 pounds per square inch. This demands such strength that only electricity can give me, Captain Nemo said instantly. I repeat, sir, the dynamic power of my engines is nearly infinite. The Nautilus's pumps have prodigious strength, as you must have noticed when their waterspouts rush like a torrent over the Abraham Lincoln. But with a view to conserving my machinery, I use my supplementary ballast tanks only to reach an average depth of 5,000 to 6,500 feet. Accordingly, when I feel like visiting the ocean depths 5 or 6 miles under the surface, I use procedures that are more time-consuming, but no less infallible. What are they, Captain? I asked. Here, I'm naturally led to telling you about how the Nautilus is maneuvered. Can't wait to find out. In order to steer the boat to port or starboard or ensure to make turns on the horizontal plane, I use a wide-bladed rudder that's fastened to the rear of the stern post and worked by a wheel and tackle. But I can also move the Nautilus upwards and downwards on a vertical plane by the simple method of slanting its two fins, which are attached at its sides at the center of flotation. These fins are adjustable, so able to assume any position and operated from the inside with the help of powerful levers. If the fins stay parallel to the boat, the latter moves horizontally. If they slant, the Nautilus follows the angle of the slant under its propeller's thrust and either sinks or rises diagonally, depending on how steep I wish. And likewise, if I want to return more quickly to the surface, I throw the propeller in gear, and the water pressure makes the Nautilus rise vertically like a gas balloon filled with hydrogen that lifts swiftly to the skies. Bravo, Captain, I exclaimed. But in the midst of the waters, how can your helmsman follow the course you give? My helmsman is stationed behind the windows of the pilot house, which protrudes from the topside of the Nautilus's hull and is fitted with biconvex glass. Can glass withstand such pressure? Absolutely. Though fragile when struck, crystal still offers considerable resistance. In 1864, during experiments on fishing by electric lights, the darkness, and in the midst of these murky waters, I wonder how your helmsman. Astern of the pilot house is a powerful electrical searchlight, whose rays light upon the sea for a distance of half a mile. Oh, bravo! Bravo 3 times over, Captain. That explains the phosphorescent glow from the so-called narwhal that was so puzzling to us scientists. Pertinent to this, I would like to ask you if the Nautilus is running afoul of the Scotia, which caused such an uproar, was an accident. Completely accidental, sir. I was navigating 6.5 feet under the surface of the water when the collision occurred, but I could see that it had no dire consequences. None, sir. But as for your run-in with the Abraham Lincoln, Professor, that bothered me, because it's one of the best ships in the gallant American Navy. But I was under attack and I had to defend myself. Even so, I was content to simply put the frigate in condition where it could not do me any harm. It wouldn't have trouble getting repairs at the nearest port. Ah, Commander, I exclaimed with conviction. Your Nautilus is truly a marvelous boat. Yes, Professor, Captain Nemo replied with genuine feeling, and I love it like my own flesh and blood. If danger threatens one of your ships on the surface of the sea, your only thoughts are of the cold, remorseless depths that Dutchman Davy Jones so aptly put it. But under the waves of the Nautilus, a man can throw his cares away. There's no structural weakness for fear, because our double hull has the rigidity of iron. No rigging strained by the rolling and pitching of the waves. No sails for winds to carry off. No boilers for steam to blow up. No fires to fear, because the submersible is made of sheet iron, not wood. No coal to run out of, since it is propulsive to electric power. And no collisions to fear, because it navigates the watery deep all by itself. No storms to brave, because just a few yards under the waves, it finds complete tranquility. There, sir, there is a ship beyond compare. And if it's true that the engineer has more confidence in the craft than the builder, and the builder more than the captain itself, you can appreciate the utter abandon with which I put my trust in the Nautilus, since I'm the captain, builder, and the engineer all in one. Captain Nemo spoke to me with spellbinding eloquence. The fire in his eyes and the passion in his gestures transformed him. Yes, he loved this ship the way a father loves a child. But one question naturally kept popping up. Though it may have been out of line, I couldn't help asking. So you're an engineer, Captain Nemo? Yes, Professor, he answered me. I've studied in London, Paris, and New York back in the days when I lived on dry land. But how did you manage to build this wonderful Nautilus in secret? Each piece of it, Professor Aronow, came from a different part of the globe and reached me at a cover address. The keel was forged by the Creosote in France, its propeller by Penn and Company in London, sheet iron plates for its hull in Laird's in Liverpool, and its propeller by Scott's in Glasgow. Its tanks were manufactured by Kale and Company in Paris, and its engine by Krupp in Prussia, its spur by Motala Workshops in Sweden, its precision instruments by Hart Bros in New York City. And each of these suppliers received my specifications under a different name. But I continued, once these parts were manufactured, didn't they have to be assembled and adjusted? Professor, I set up my workshops on a deserted islet in mid-ocean. There, my workmen, in other words, my gallant companions who I've molded and trained, helped me to complete our Nautilus. Then, when the whole operation was over, we burned every trace of our stay on the islet, which, if I could have, I would have blown up. So I can assume that this vessel was quite an expensive proposition. An iron ship, Professor Aronow, runs $204 per ton. Now then, the Nautilus has a burden of 1,660 tons. So it would cost 338,000 or 400,000, depending on its furnishings, and 800,000 to $1 million with all the collections of its notable art holds. One final question, Captain Nemo. Ask away, Professor. You're a wealthy man? Wealthy beyond measure, sir, and without the slightest trouble, I could pay off the $2 billion French national debt. I looked intently at this peculiar individual who had just spoken these words. Was he playing with my credulity? Only time would tell. That's it for today. Thank you for stopping by. We'll pick it up again tomorrow, and y'all have a good day. Thank you.